Jeremy. I thought that message was kind of important to share because it seems like we're hearing one side of things, and you know, there's a lot of good news to share too. It looks a whole lot different when you hear the other side of it. In September, I completed 10 years of service to the Centerville Chamber. Thank you. And just yesterday, Tylee McGill completed 10 years of service to the Chamber. It's gone by very fast, and every year when I look back, it seems like there's always something from that year that I really remember. And of course, the opening of the resort would probably be what I remember most about 2008, but I'll also remember the weather. Everything we did this year, it seemed like, was kind of affected by the weather. It played havoc with a lot of our activities. You know, we had an ice storm. And then we had our golf outing in May, and if you were here, it was probably the muddiest golf outing we've ever had. And then we had our first Friday Night Live in May, and winter returned that weekend, and we were wearing winter coats and had blankets. It was very cold. And then in June, our Friday Night Live, the police department shut us down because there was a tornado warning. And then we had, in July, we started out with our train rides. And, the first train ride was like a monsoon. It rained and wind. And you know, you go to the amusement parks and those water rides. I mean, those are the ones with the long lines. But people don't get that excited on our train rides. You can't sell it as well. So it was only one ride, so it worked out. But and then, of course, the flooding, you know, in July and throughout the rest of the summer. I mean, the Lake Association's summer splash had to be moved. You know, and of course the resort was delayed in opening. You know, it was just, the weather really played havoc. But we also had a really good year too. We unveiled our new website in last February, just about a year ago, and in that first year, we had 1.5 million hits on our website, which is really a tremendous success for us. It enabled us to bring in some new members as well. And then we produced our tourism publication, and in the fall, it was recognized by the Iowa Department of Economic Development at the Tourism Conference as the Tourism Consumer Publication of the Year. So that was exciting for us as well. And we distribute these brochures. We print about 22,000 a year now. We distribute them at motels and hotels on the I-80 and I-35 corridor, and then we have about 8 tourism boxes in the county, and then we send them out. So we're really feeling like we've increased the number of brochures that we're getting out, and it's a quality brochure. And then, in time for our 60th Pancake Day, we got a new Pancake Day tent to replace the 50-year-old tent, and that's due to a gracious gift from the Bemis Foundation and Centerville Tent and Awning, and also from Mike O'Connor letting us roast him at our first roast last March. So we were able to raise some money for that. We still have a little bit more money to raise, but that tent is actually 3 tents and 1 smaller tent, so there's 4 total. And they can be used by other groups for events, and so it's very, very functional. We spent 11 days on the main floor of the Varied Industry Building during the Iowa State Fair. This is the first time we have been on the main floor of the Varied Industry Building, and we visited with hundreds of thousands of people in 11 days. So that was very exciting for us to do that. It was an investment, and we're excited to participate again in 2009 with the Corps of Engineers and Monroe County on that again. Throughout the year, we just had wonderful volunteer support for our events, and we really appreciate that, and we're really thankful for that. One of the most important things that we've done to make us able to do so many activities is having passed the hotel motel tax, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and many of you were involved with that passing of that. And so many of the things that we're able to do today is because of that. And it's been, in my 10 years, I would say that is the item that has helped our chamber grow the most. And we've been able to go in and, like this year, we helped fund the municipal band concerts, which, had the funding for that had kind of fallen away, so we were able to fund that. This year, we're funding the Crappie Masters. They're having a national qualifying tournament, the first time we've ever had a national qualifying tournament at Rathbun Lake, and we're funding that through tourism dollars. Lots of great things that we're able to do with those tourism dollars. At your seats, I've included part of our work program, which just lists our area of responsibilities. I'm not going to read that to you, but sometimes you forget about all the things that the chamber does. We're involved in a lot of different things, and so that's just kind of a listing of pretty much what we do during the year. Even when we're putting that list together, we kind of forget about things, and unless you go to the coffee classes regularly, it kind of is hard to stay up to date with everything. But we have a lot of things on our program tonight, and so I just kind of like to wrap things up.